Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are diving headfirst into the absolute most mind-blowing, genuinely bizarre facts about the very vessel you're sitting in right now. Yep, your own body. You might think you know yourself pretty well, but I promise you by the end of this, you are going to look in the mirror completely differently. I mean, seriously, how fast is a fart? Or think about this for a second. How many microscopic bugs are just hanging out, living on your face right this exact second? Well, if those questions make you slightly uncomfortable but incredibly curious, we're definitely in for a fun ride. Let's dive in. Chapter 1, The Power-Hungry Brain, Your Body's Control Center. Let's get into it. 2.5 million gigabytes. Now, in an age where our phones can hold millions of songs and thousands of photos, nothing actually beats the storage capacity of Mother Nature. That massive number is the estimated storage capacity of the human brain. Although, let's be real, if you're anything like the rest of us, you kind of have to admit that about 1.8 million of those gigabytes are probably devoted entirely to anxiety. And it's fast too, 350 miles per hour. That is the incredible speed at which your brain moves information around. To put that into perspective, this astonishing processing speed is exactly how you're able to instantly catch a falling glass off a counter, or react to a sudden loud noise, or just make a split-second decision without even having to consciously think about it. Basically, your brain is a high-speed data highway. And this actually debunks a massive pop culture myth. We've all heard that old saying that we only use 10% of our brains, right? Well, scratch that. It's totally wrong. In reality, the average human utilizes 100% of their brain. Yes, even while you are fast asleep. And miraculously, this incredible, fully operational machine runs on just about 20 watts of electrical power. That is barely enough to power a single dim light bulb. But here is a truly mind-bending fact about your control center. The brain itself has absolutely zero pain receptors. None. This is the exact reason why patients can remain fully conscious and awake while surgeons operate directly on their brain tissue. The brain feels everything else in the body, sure, but it literally cannot feel itself. Crazy, right? All right, moving on to Chapter 2, Your Skin's Secret Ecosystem, a Microscopic World. So the brain might be heavy, but your skin is actually your heaviest organ. In fact, up to 16% of your total body weight is just skin. It's a massive, highly active organ, and get this, it sheds a staggering 30,000 cells every single minute. You are basically leaving a microscopic trail of yourself everywhere you go. Okay, get ready for a mini horror story. You actually have microscopic face spiders, known as Demodex mites. During the day, they hide face down inside your hair follicles, just eating your sebum, the natural oil your skin produces. Then at night, they crawl out to swarm your skin and mate before retreating back into your pores to lay their eggs. And here's the absolute kicker. Because they live so deep inside your pores, literally no amount of soap or scrubbing can wash them off. They're just a permanent, everyday part of your ecosystem. But your skin isn't just a home for mites, it's also highly emotional. We all know that feeling of blushing when we're embarrassed, right? Well, did you know blushing isn't just skin deep? When blood rushes to your cheeks from a romantic interest or, say, a super awkward moment, it also rushes right to your guts. Your stomach lining is literally blushing right alongside your face. Chapter 3, The Marvel of Gross Fluids, Bizarre Realities. Let's get a little messy. I want you to imagine 500 standard bathtubs. Just picture them lined up. Over the course of your lifetime, your body's going to produce about 40,000 liters of saliva, which is enough to fill every single one of them. And this isn't just water, by the way. This fluid is packed with essential proteins and an enzyme called lysozymes, which literally disintegrates most bacteria right on contact. So your spit? It's basically your mouth's frontline defense system. Okay, let's decode your booger colors. Clear means you're totally normal. White, yellow, or gray, that means you've picked up some dust, pollen, or maybe you have an infection. Pink, red, or brown signifies a little bleeding in the nasal cavity. And please, listen to me clearly on this one, do not pick or eat your boogers. Mucus acts exactly like flypaper for dirt, viruses, and bacteria, making absolutely sure those dangerous spores don't cause a massive infection in your body. And speaking of noses, this actually solves a really common winter mystery. Why do you get a runny nose in the cold versus a stuffy nose when you're sick? Well, cold air actually stops the microscopic hairs in your nose, which are called cilia, from sweeping mucus to the back of your throat. That buildup leads to a runny nose. A stuffy nose, on the other hand, isn't actually filled with extra mucus at all. Instead, structures inside your nose called conchae swell up in size. The great news here, you can easily fix a stuffy nose just by breathing in some warm steam, which shrinks that swelling right back down. Finally, Chapter 4. Bizarre Hidden Body Phenomena, Invisible Processes. Let's start this section with a genuinely awe-inspiring scientific discovery. Humans are bioluminescent. Yep, you literally glow in the dark. Japanese researchers used extremely sensitive cameras to discover that human cheeks, foreheads, and necks naturally emit a biological light. Now there's a catch. The light you produce is about 1,000 times weaker than our human eyes can actually detect. But technically speaking, you are always shining. And here is your daily struggle with gravity. When you wake up at 7 a.m., you are actually about 0.4 inches taller than you were the night before. But throughout the day, the cartilage between your bones, especially in your spine, compresses under the sheer weight of your body. So for all the short kings out there watching this, if you want to measure yourself at your absolute tallest, make absolutely sure you do it right when you roll out of bed. Here's an invisible phenomenon you've probably never noticed. It's called the nasal cycle. Your nostrils actually take turns doing the heavy lifting. One nostril does about 75% of the active breathing, while the other nostril just kind of rests. Every few hours, they switch roles entirely to regulate airflow and keep things balanced, all completely behind the scenes without you ever being aware of it. Now, do you remember that question from the very start? 7 miles per hour. That is the exact speed of a fart, which takes a mere 0.2 seconds to fully exit the body. I mean, science really has measured absolutely everything, hasn't it? Which brings us to our final thought. The next time you turn out the lights to go to sleep, I really want you to ask yourself, are you gently glowing in the dark? Or are the microscopic mites in your pores just waking up to throw a massive party? I guarantee you'll never look in the mirror quite the same way again. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope you walk away absolutely fascinated by the secret, weird, and wonderful life of your own body.